Hello, I'm bored. I'm gonna play Satisfactory. Or else I'm gonna hang out so other people can talk. Or might be talking. Right back.
Yeah, I gotta say, you're pretty boring.
Whoa, buddy. Maybe you're boring.
Yeah, I am. I'm bored as shit.
Mm-hmm. What's the news today? An airplane? Okay.
Sounds like another Aussie band.
Oh, I feel like this is a bad idea. What part of my factory else? Oh yeah, I need to make plates now. How do I build plates? Put them over here. I got the stairway things down, don't I? Okay. What happened? Okay. Okay.
Ah, that was good.
Okay.
Oh man.
Screws. I need a screw factory.
That was full on. Here you go, Jesse. Oh man.
Yo, I'm telling you, bro, it's wild.
My nigga, I'm already
Wild.
knowing, bro. That shit is ridiculous.
Ridiculous?
Ridiculous,
That's what it
bro.
is?
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous? Ridiculous?
Oh my God, bro. You know what I
Ridiculous?
mean, nigga. Ridiculous.
But you
ridiculous.
said ridiculous. You stupid fucking idiot.
I made a mistake.
Nah, you dumb. You dumb. You a dumb
Yeah.
nigga.
Yo, chill.
Learn how to pronounce words, you dumb fuck. You illiterate, incompetent, remedial, ignorant, dumbass. Bro, here's the fucking dictionary. Look up the word, and when you find it, learn how to say it. Retard. You need to go
buddy.
back to school. Oh wait, you probably went to Dumb Nigga Academy of Dumb Niggas.
Go home.
Bitch.
Kodo. Bleedy.
This is me.
Yeah,
Here you go.
that guy
Another
seems
one.
like a big Bleedy to me.
Here you go. Here's another one.
Seen lots of ones like that before.
These are solving my problems. And the kid just throws it at the end.
I looked away just as he did that.
He like full on gives up.
Just no. Yay. Yeah, I saw a thing the other day on Facebook that said like a D&D campaign where instead of like the normal stats that you have, it had like yeet for range, and then Kobe is accuracy. So like your stats are yeet and Kobe and things like that, rather than accuracy and strength.
Oh,
yeah, yeet was strength. That's right. Well, I found it funny anyway. This is Ross. Jump down the nature. Don't need any of that around here. I'm walking away.
Have you watched the new Triforce?
No.
Because I'm listening to it now.
I shall put it on. Gonna find where the damn window went. Triforce. Okay. I'll be right back.
Copy, select modifiers. Bevel, okay.
Fuck.
Hey everybody, you are tuned live to 99.2 FM, hot on your dial, classic rock with the Triforce crew on a Thursday morning. I'm joined by Sips and Lewis. How you guys doing?
That was perfect, Flax, except for you had to go with the Triforce crew. Yeah, you gotta like have a lot of effects and stuff in there too.
With Sips. Do you know what I mean? Scott, you gotta have all those.
And Lewis.
yeah, you gotta have all those dumb sound effects.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They love that gimmicky soundboard, and you can tell that the DJ's been doing it for absolutely fucking years.
They
and loves
always
all
have
those
a news
dumb
helicopter. Like they always have fucking just the dumbest shit. They got the Doppler radar for the weather and everything. I don't know what. I don't know what's up with American radio stations.
You know what
They're
I
all
think
the
it is?
same.
It's the same thing with all American news presenters talk in the same way. They
Yeah.
all have the exact same cadence. Like when they're doing the live report, they hit the same syllables, they hit the same points in the conversation, and they go up and down at the same point. Today, Thursday, on this very intersection, an accident between two vehicles. It's like up, down, blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, if you hear someone that doesn't do it that way, they stick out like a sore
They
thumb.
do.
It's easier just to go with the flow. You just do it the way everybody else does it, and you just become another professional news guy. No, you're not going to stand out. No one's going to say, "Oh yeah, it's that guy." Like, do you remember there was that weatherman? Look, I'm going to do a Triforce Classic thing. We have definitely spoken about this.
Which weatherman is it?
That's
Which
the
weather-
motto of the Triforce podcast. You're listening to 99.2 Triforce podcast. You've definitely heard this before.
Spoken about this before. Yeah.
Oh my God, we've done 100 episodes. Like, there's no way we're not repeating
Rein that
ourselves.
in.
all
Rein
the
that
time.
in, sir. We've done
99.
99.2 episodes. Sips. This being the 99.2th.
Man,
You know that.
You know what? I think this is one of the longest things I've ever committed to in my life, besides being married.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of podcasts come out of this, and it's.
They're all the same.
I mean, Lewis, you're a lot
Wow.
like me,
That
I
was a
think,
shock.
where like you start something with these great
Hey,
intentions,
Blake.
and you're like, yeah, this is gonna
It's
be
the
awesome,
waiver.
and then after a while,
It's like someone opened the can.
Upstream. What?
Oh, it's a yeah, like that.
What? What is this factory?
while you just stop doing it, you just give up or whatever.
Yeah, it's called the Bodega Book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Flax. I guess you're in the same boat. But with
Well, no, it's
Triforce,
finished now.
weird.
It is
Maybe now
finished.
I'm
It is
jinxing it though. Now that I'm sort of drawing attention to it, watch, it'll fizzle out and we won't do it.
You know what I like about this is it's a fixed time.
Yeah.
And there's more than one of us doing it. Like if it was just me doing this, I would do it for a few weeks and then stop. But 3 is the perfect number.
Yeah.
It's the
Because
magical.
it's enough
the
people that
triangle.
even if one of them gets a little,
It's the Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. It's the James. It's the Clarkson, Hammond, and May. You know, it's like
is.
the Hat films. It's the crisscross, trot,
Yeah.
and the other one.
There's only 2 guys in crisscross, but I see what you mean.
that's why they call them crisscross,
It's
not crisscross
it's like
Chris.
Bros and yeah, Two's Company.
Or Bros, as apparently some people thought it was.
Bros, like Super Mario Bros.
I think 3 people is also the right number. If you think about when you think about a marriage or a date or something like that, you know, get boyfriend, girlfriend, it's 2 people, right? You don't want to go out and have 2 people and then a third person, the gooseberry, right?
Right.
The extra person. But when you have a conversation, 3 people is good because otherwise 2 people might just agree and there's really no
There's no conversation
you know,
there.
volatility to the conversation.
Well, that's
It
never
doesn't
the
go
case
anywhere.
when I'm in a conversation because I will
No,
always
exactly.
try and do the counterpoint, even if I don't have any education on
I
it.
don't think that's intentional, Lewis. I mean, you make it out it's kind of I'll take one for the team and play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I don't think it's no, I just think it's you, brother.
Yeah.
You're just a
I'm
little,
just argumentative. I'm
little
just
out
an
there.
asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to it. Fuck. So no, newscasters. Go on, let's continue that thread. I like where that was going.
Well, the ones back in the studio always have that that garbage charm, don't they? Like it's not charming at all, and you end up feeling just a sense of loathing towards them because they're just talking so unnaturally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's like a radio voice seems more tolerable somehow. You know, like especially you hear people that have been on the radio for years. I mean, I think this kind of applies to us as well. You know, we're very sort of confident in front of a microphone, right? Like we can sit here and talk and be like expressive and stuff like that. The first time you go to record yourself, you're not like that at all, right? Is this something that you just get better at, or
No,
whatever
it's like
over
you're
time?
holding in a shit the first time
Yeah.
you try and record it.
Yeah.
Constantly
But
like, oh, okay, so hello, welcome. I'm recording myself. And this is me. This is what I sound like. And then you play it back, and you're like, "Oh my god,
yeah.
I don't sound like that. That's weird."
Studio news announcers, particularly it seems in North America, I don't know if this applies elsewhere. I mean, in Britain, they're very, very sort of low key and conservative, aren't they? They're, you know, they're not over the top at all. They're just very sort of like, they just, you know, give you the information and it's all presented in a very sort of, I don't know, like.
It's pretty straightforward. It's not. They don't jazz it up.
Yeah.
I feel like in America they're trying to sell you the story. You know, they're trying to make you.
And they always have like these weird jokes that they all fake laugh at and stuff.
Oh,
and
man.
it's awkward as hell. It's just I don't get it. I just don't get it.
It's kind of like
they
officey,
laugh.
polite, just jokes, though. You know, it's almost like they want to kind of joke with each other, but it's. I think the other thing is it has got this kind of authenticity attached to it, right? Like, or like when you're watching it, when they do speak with that cadence and that kind of in that specific way, it's very much like familiar and authentic to you. And you think it's true and you
Right.
think it's real, right? You believe it. You don't question.
You recognize them as professional
Yeah.
news people just from the way they talk, right? But it's not the way anybody speaks. And if someone was telling you something, you wouldn't want them to do it in that way.
No.
But this one weather guy, he was in the UK. He might have been on Sky, and he would come up. He had a bit of a Bill Nye thing going on with him. But he'd sort of sidle up to the weather and go, "Oh, some rain coming in from the east. It doesn't look very nice. A little bit of a storm cloud here in the channel, and you might notice some westerly breezes coming in, but nothing really to worry about." And it's sort of like, what is this guy? Has he
Sounds
just
like a-
wandered
sounds like
onto
a
the set?
pilot. Like,
Yeah, is he someone's uncle? Like, it's just weird. But it kind of threw you to the point where you weren't listening to the weather. You were just focusing on this guy's weird sort of character. So I think that's part of it, is if I come out and say, "You won't believe it, some guy got murdered, holy shit, it was right in your neighborhood," you're going to come out and say, you know, "Sadness today in a small neighborhood, and when Mr. Father of Four Ben Mercer's was found dead in his cabin. You know, so you've got to do it in that way.
It's weird. It sounds like that now, but I don't know if it ever. I don't know if it was always like that. I think it's something that's evolved because I don't remember it being that over the top, like back when, even when I was younger.
No, they had character. Like, anyone remember Walter Cronkite? He was a newsreader.
I remember, but he wasn't really over the top though. He was.
No, but he had a voice and he was just himself. And,
Yeah.
everybody recognized him.
Yeah.
There were certain news guys that had, like Hugh Edwards on the BBC, right? The Welsh guy.
Yes.
He's very good. The way he reads the news, I always think Hugh's telling me what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
reading me
He's
the
very
news.
he's like a very saggy dog face, you know.
And Fiona Bruce as well. Man, she's really good too. Fiona Bruce, just like.
Fiona Bruce, excellent. George Alagaya. Shout out to George
You know,
Alagaya.
yeah. Shout out to these great newsreaders.
Fiona Bruce, honestly, she's got a commanding presence. She has gravitas. Like, she looks like she's in complete control. A fucking bomb could go off in the studios and she'd be cool.
I think the British newscasters have their own sort of. It's a kind of a copy though of that cadence though. You know that the other newscasters have. It is shared across the world. Everyone is very serious and they cast news in a very serious way. You even see it with like North Korea, don't you? Didn't they famously have that kind of cute old lady who used to read the news?
Yeah.
And she did it for like 30 years or something.
Yeah.
You know, with a very. I want to say Western style, very much reading stuff to the audience, kind of behind a
Well,
news desk,
bloody-
No, it felt like some piece of Asian theatre.
propaganda.
The way she
Yo!
spoke, and she would really shout, and sort of she was really.
I have
proud
straight
and
beam.
like it was all good news. It was always all good news about how great everything was in North Korea.
They have to be like that though, because it's, they have to.
Yeah.
They have-
Just imagine you're reading the news in North Korea. There's going to be some guy there with a gun, just waiting in case you
Right,
happen
yeah, right
to
behind
go
the
off.
curtain.
What up, hype?
Yeah.
You say one
Whoa,
wrong
buddy.
thing.
Out to the weather. Yeah, the weather
Can't just
today will
say
be
things like that.
beautiful, as it
People
was
streams,
yesterday.
man.
There is definitely
Every
a storm coming in
moment.
from the north. Ah, this is
Every
the
day.
Executor on TV.
Not supposed to
We're
join.
not supposed to talk about the storm.
Did you hear about that guy who went out there?
Hello,
on his
Justice
studio
Stream. Hello,
And he
chat.
stole a poster because obviously he wanted.
What's
I
the
think he
volume
wanted a
levels like?
souvenir.
Oh,
They
shit,
claimed
that's
he was a
North Korea.
spy. They banged him up, made
Yeah.
prison, and all the rest of it. What are you doing? Go to North Korea.
Calm down, Hyra.
Why would you go
My
there
name is Jesse
and
Ryan.
steal a poster?
No, they
I
make
think
me
it's
right.
to get arrested.
back
it's to
belts
get
in the
in
wind, Hyra.
news. It's to live
Okay.
that crazy drama. It's such
Follow
a
me
crazy
on
place. It's
Instagram.
like, it's just.
Back
So
belts
that's
in the wind, Hyra.
license for that guy.
It is like a
Get
dark
arrested
tourist.
by
Yeah, hide it through the
terrifying
Discord so we don't
regime.
annoy the
I
sky.
mean,
No.
it's like going to
No.
Chernobyl or whatever and walking around. So my cousin.
I would back
So, okay, this is
the
all like a
leaders.
bit weird, but first of all, the Bodega book is being done, and it's can I say who we've got a bit of help from?
Later.
Anyway, I could
Yeah,
say.
no,
I guess I
please.
could say.
Yeah,
My
he
cousin,
Hyra.
has had a look through it for us, for me and Pyrian.
Here we go.
And
The
he's
quality standard has just
Jesse
dropped.
gay.
You know it's bad when something is delayed and then it's like a family member is involved.
well, he's
with
like
it
a
all of a sudden.
professional. He actually works as a guy who reads books for a living and then recommends
Sure.
them to which one gets published.
Right.
So he sits around reading books all the time. So he read Bodega. He really liked it. He was really
Yeah,
positive
he
about it,
liked
wasn't it?
That Sips, he liked it. Can you believe it?
He actually liked it.
He actually liked
There's
it.
a lot to like in Bodega, though. I think it's good. I think it was good. I used to love listening to the stories. It was nice.
But honestly, that was the biggest surprise of my life when we had a chat with him, and he said, first of all, and I thought he was going to say, "This is no good." You know what I mean? Like, I honestly thought the first thing he was going to say was, "This is garbage. You've got to go back to the drawing board with this." But he was like, first of all, loved it, thought it was great. And I was like, what? Like, I could not believe it.
Sometimes though, and I'm not saying that he doesn't like it, because I truly believe that he does, okay? Let me just preface with that.
Don't do this.
But sometimes people in that capacity open with that all the time. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
No.
that is a very typical opener for
No,
somebody
they open with,
reviewing
"It's garbage."
creative work, right?
They open with, "It's garbage." Like, and then he gave me a huge list of things to change that were all like, "That's really good."
They open with it's garbage if you're like top of the pile, right? Like if you're the guy who owns like EMI Records or something like that, yeah, he'll open up with that's garbage because he's looking for the next big thing or whatever. Anyone below him is always going to open up with, first off, let me just say, amazing. because they're hopeful that they can spin this for you into a big money maker because they'll profit off the back of it, right?
Why have you got to shit on me?
I'm not shitting on you, man. I'm just bringing the real ism.
I don't
Well,
need that.
so we're not
I
publishing it
just-
through him or through his agency or anything.
All
All he's
right,
done
okay,
is
fine,
all he's
okay,
done
so
is like he gets
there-
nothing from this.
Okay, good. All right.
Other than an independent person who doesn't listen to Triforce, doesn't know anything about it, and just has no clue except works in the industry. So no, he wanted you to take a couple of chapters out the middle because they were a bit out of place, and save them for I don't know some other book or something. And he wanted you to change a couple of things around, didn't he? But I think
Yeah,
we'll-
but and also I had no idea how bad my grammar is. Like when I was looking through the edits, it was like all these grammatical
it's mostly
changes.
just commas and stuff. But the thing is,
Yeah, and
mostly it's the same thing. It's like the way you choose a grammatical style. Like when you write, like hard, for example, the correct. That you have like a style guide when you start usually, which is that pard is written apostrophe P-A-R-D, and I think you were doing it with like a capital P. So a lot of the changes were just grammatical
They
stuff
were
like that.
tidying up. Also, I mean, bear in mind, much of this was written, you know, with kids around. So I'm trying to do one thing and another thing, like, at the same time.
Yeah, so halfway through the book, there's just like a bit where Period's like got a shopping list, and then there's like a bit where he's like yelling at someone, and it's like, why have you typed this out? It's like, what are you doing?
Why
Put
is
that down.
Bodega telling
Stop
Raph to
putting
tidy
that
his
in your
room?
mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah.
In other news, a book written by Pyrian Flax will soon be hitting the shelves. At episode 100, maybe we'll do it. How about that?
That would be pretty sweet.
How does this work then, Flax? I mean, you did the whole thing, so I assume that you're just gonna get paid for it, like just you, right?
I mean, well, the 30 or 40 people that buy a copy, I guess. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I assume that whatever money there is, we have to pay whoever publishes the book,
Right.
like
We're
the,
doing it
the
ourselves.
company.
We're printing it ourselves. So
Okay, so yeah,
so
whatever.
will I.
I mean, I have no idea. I just hope it don't get screwed over.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's gonna be a bill for you.
Do you want me to
So,
represent you in a legal sense? I don't have
What?
any formal training, but I've watched a lot of TV shows, so.
I know some lawyers. Mrs. F knows a lot of lawyers. I'll get them involved. I'll take this to the fucking Supreme Court, Brindley, if I need to.
Yeah, yeah.
And you Terps, I know you're listening.
Open strong. That's it. That's what you got to do. You gotta like scare them away from making any fuck over decisions. You know what I mean? Like,
Today, strong winds have hit the island of Jersey. Local lawyer, Sips, speaks out against the wind.
yeah. Well, it sure was windy. I'll tell you this much. Gosh, I was trying to drink a coffee, and well, the wind just came right underneath the coffee and blew it up into my face. Scalded, burned all my skin off, and now I'm dead.
Wind has delayed shipments of vegetarian sausages to the island, causing local resident Sips to be angry about his barbecue.
Oh my god.
Then they cut back to him for a final quote, you know, where, like preferably something funny
Yeah.
that he says, and then they cut to local law enforcement, some guy they've shoved in front of the camera, sheriff or whatever, saying, well, obviously this is a very unfortunate incident, the investigation is ongoing, I can say no more at this time, thank you. And then they cut. With a bunch of other questions, they quickly cut back to the reporter with a sign off. It's like,
Yeah. You get that.
Yeah.
You get like all the camera clicks, and then you have like, wait, and then it just like cuts off, like you don't have it.
Like a zombie
This interview was
movie.
over. Stormed off.
Yeah.
No, it's got
Man.
like it's got a shitty joke, and it's like,
Well, let's just say that
Yeah, with a little wry smile.
the
You won't
wind
believe this one.
was blowing
What a
on the
big
other side of the island.
it's like what? it's like
Wait.
I've always wanted to be given a press conference and give my prepared statement, and then as I'm walking away, everybody's clamoring for questions, and I'll stop and I'll make like I'm turning back, but then I'm gonna go anyway.
Oh, it's like a reverse encore.
Yeah, that would be great.
You should do a bodega press conference at YogCon, and we can stage a whole
Yeah.
bunch of like reporters and flash photography and stuff.
That would be funny.
Yeah, you should
And
do it.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
Mr. Period, Mr.
I-
Period, will we see
No
the
more
return
questions.
of the Dildonians?
The Dildonian representative is unavailable to speak about that at the moment, but if you buy the book, you'll find out more. That's all I have to say. And I'll like throw something, kick something over, punch a photographer, Bjork style, storm off. Always wanted to do that.
Yeah, the storm off is particularly nice. You know, when you try to leave like
When you hear the
very
crackle of the microphone as well as they
you
tear
try
it
to
off.
leave very gracefully, but then you turn around and you get like all the camera snapping, the people like shouting for you to come back or whatever quickly, but then you bump into somebody who's in the way, and you're already like kind of nervous and stressed out at that point. So you're like, get the fuck out of my way! You just like gotta push them out of the way.
You tend not to see like too many of the reporters walking out on the guests, though, but it does happen.
No, the reporters don't. It's usually somebody who's like under fire for something, right? Like they have to give a really tough press conference where they have to. And I admit, yes, I was masturbating on the bus. No more questions. I gotta go. Get the fuck out of my way!
Wait,
Come on!
wait, we have so many questions.
Yeah. Fuck
So,
the news.
Mrs. F took part in a company pub quiz
Wow.
on Tuesday,
Nice.
and her team won it. Her team won the pub quiz, which I was very excited by. And the first thing that I asked her was, "Can you give me the questions?" And she gave me the questions from the pub quiz. So I've
Right.
got like a shitload of questions here.
Okay.
There's loads. I'll give you an example.
The Triforce
Which-
pub quiz.
The
Sure.
Triforce pub quiz. Which daily, weekday national newspaper in the UK has the biggest circulation?
I'm gonna say it's probably something like maybe like the Times.
This is like when you're padding out the essay. It's like when you write the question out. The biggest circulation weekly newspaper in the UK.
I'm gonna say my top
is-
one is okay. I think it's this order. Okay, you ready for
Okay.
this? I think it's in
Give
this
us the
order.
top three.
The top three. My number one is the Sun on Sunday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My number two is the Mail on Sunday. And then I think
Okay.
my number three is the Sunday Times. You know why I'm saying this? Because I think a lot of people buy the paper daily, but I think a lot of people buy the paper on Sunday.
You think
Okay.
6 times as many people buy it on Sunday as the daily
Absolutely.
one?
Yeah, I'm very confident.
All right. Well, let me tell you
That's
the correct answer.
amazing.
The correct answer is actually the Metro.
Oh
The
fuck!
paper that you get
Because it's
for free in
free.
London.
That feels like
It-
bullshit. I think a lot
Right.
of those fucking numbers are just not picked up, or like pigeons. Oh,
Well, it used to be the Sun. Last year it was the Sun. This year it's the Metro.
the biggest
um,
circulation newspaper in England is the Metro. That's right. 300
a
pigeons.
free leaflet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy because I googled this and like while you were talking about it, and those answers were what came up on Google. So I guess Google's
So
wrong.
if you look at
I think
Wikipedia,
individually selling.
Top 10 UK newspapers by circulation.
right, look on Wikipedia, which has 2019. It goes Metro, then the Sun, then the Daily Mail,
Right.
then the London Evening Standard, then the Mirror.
Okay, this
then the
Metro
Times,
just came
and
from
so on.
out of nowhere though, because like in
No, it
2018,
definitely didn't come from out of nowhere.
in 2018 it wasn't even in
Metro's
the
a
top 10.
fucking
So what did the Metro
shit.
do to become
No,
so
you're
popular?
definitely looking at the wrong figures. In 2018, it was second.
Okay, well the Daily Mail is second according to top 10 UK newspapers by circulation.
All right, I'm gonna post this. Look at this. Whatever you're reading is out of date. This is up to date. There, I posted it on the Discord.
But this is Wikipedia though, right?
Yeah, it's fake news.
This is from all figures originate from the Audit
God, look at
Bureau
that
of
downward
Circulation.
trend. There's a
Yeah.
fucking sad downward trend in newspapers. Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
look at that. The Guardian has halved its numbers. The Sun has halved its numbers in a decade. Anyway, question two.
Question 2.
Criminal gangs were cleaning up from parking meters in London earlier this year. But what household appliance did they use to get the cash?
Fucking what are you talking about?
Um,
Criminal gangs like using fucking toasters to like fucking steal pennies from parking meters. Oh, quickly. Get all that, put those pounds out there.
Toasters is the wrong answer.
it's a household utility thing?
The clue is in the question.
Right.
Oh, we
Criminal
should have
gangs
done the
were
old thing where we write the
cleaning up
question down.
From
Cleaning up.
parking meters in London
Oh.
this year. It's Hoovers. These Hoovers.
They're
They
sucking
were
the
sucking the
pounds out
coins out with a
of
Hoover.
parking meters.
You can't
Yeah.
suck a coin out of something with the vacuum. That's crazy.
Buddy, they were doing it.
Fucking hell.
What recently forced the Liberian president to work from home?
Oh, Ebola?
Who cares?
No.
Jeez.
Snakes in the office.
Snakes! Snakes!
I love that.
Sure.
No, This is my absolute favorite one. This is the last one, I promise. In which northern city has the public just voted a branch of Nando's as its best restaurant?
Oh my god.
Oh, it's got to be like Sheffield or Luton.
That's not the north. That's just North London.
Oh, that's kind of where the
Doncaster.
north starts, though. In my opinion.
No.
Hull.
It's Preston.
Preston.
Of course.
Shout
it
out to
would be,
Preston
yeah.
with the best restaurant is a Nando's.
That's
I feel
amazing.
bad for them.
Preston. Yeah.
Well, Nando's is great. I love Nando's. I mean, maybe there's just not much fine dining in Preston.
I don't
Nando's is.
like
Maybe there's no dining in Preston except for one Nando's. Maybe that's all they got.
Nando's is
Preston
revolutionized.
a big place?
Preston. They got a football team.
Well, there you go.
Not
And
very
a
good.
Nando's.
Everywhere's got a football team. It's England, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. They do have hundreds and hundreds of football teams in England.
Do you have a football team where you live?
Population's 122,000.
You have a rugby team where you live. You don't have a football
Me?
team. Yeah.
We have the Richmond and Hampton team, football team,
Wow.
and they play down in Hampton.
Right.
We have the Harlequins, which is the local Twickenham team.
Right.
They play at the Stoop, which I could walk to if I was into rugby. This would be ideal, but I'm not, so I don't.
You don't
and then-
partake.
I don't. I've never even been there.
Right.
Which is, I've lived here for 15 years. I probably should have gone at some point. The most exciting thing to happen there in recent memory was Elton John did a concert there.
Right.
I missed that as well. But I could hear it all from my garden.
Hey, speaking of Elton John, there's a movie coming out about him.
There is, yeah. Elton John biopic.
Yeah, by yeah, that's right.
Is it called Elton?
No, it's not. It's called Rocket Man or something like that. But it's in the same sort of vein as your, Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen, Freddie Mercury biopic, and like there's that Motley Crue. I think these biopics now are getting a bit more popular. Maybe now that they have like the technology to go back over like really famous concerts and stuff, and almost like remake them and whatever, which is kind of exciting, isn't it? Because like you get to learn a little bit more about these artists
R&D
and their
wishes
impact.
to
And
tell
It definitely gives you a picture.
because I think like if you go to see Elton John now, I don't know what he's doing, if he's even doing anything. He's got like a residency in Vegas, or he had one for a while or whatever. It's probably a really different experience than perhaps seeing
40
him.
years ago. Yeah.
Oh man, so when he played at the Stoop, that was part of his farewell tour, and I fucking missed it.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I could have easily gone. So that's it. Yeah, it's going to end in England in 2021. He's doing that's it. 3 years, that's it, and then I'm going to retire.
He's old
So,
though, but like I
He's
think
not that old.
I think getting
Not
to
that
see
old.
him
Getting a
or-
biopic made about him, I think that means he's pretty old.
He's pretty
Nah,
old.
he's 72. That's not like unbelievably old.
Still pretty old.
It's pretty old, but he's amazing. Elton John's amazing.
Yeah.
What a fucking national treasure Elton John is.
I would love to see like a biopic made about like a really good Beatles one could be good, like a really good Led Zeppelin. Like they have to be really good, right? I thought Bohemian Rhapsody was really well done. I thought it was really
Really?
good. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. They put a lot of attention to detail in it and stuff, and I thought it was just pretty decent. It was all right. And if they did that with some other like bigger, bands from like the sort of like the 60s and 70s,
They're
maybe
gonna
even
do it.
80s.
They're
Like
gonna
I
do
would
it,
I
for
would
sure.
totally be up for that. I think it's
Well,
interesting. It's really
Bryce
good.
Dallas Howard is in this, so I might see it because I am in love with that woman.
Did you
Oh
not
my
like
God.
did you not like Bohemian Rhapsody? You watched it, you didn't like it?
I have no intention of watching it.
Oh,
I don't
right,
like
okay.
Queen. I hate Queen.
Right,
I-
okay.
I hate them, and it looks really bad. And did you not see? The guy. What's his name? The lad who played.
Yeah, Mr. Robot guy.
Yeah. Did you see the weird thing he posted where he sort of talks about himself?
Rami Malek.
Yeah, Remy Malek. He was like, I like walks in the park. I like small dogs. I like a Snickers bar that's not too warm and not too cold. I like lollipops. I like mold that grows on bread. He fucking freaks me out. That dude. He's
yeah,
weird.
he is.
He's a
guy.
he would be a great villain as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah, because he fucking weirds me out. He's like Joffrey walking around in real life. You know what I mean? The dude looks weird. He's creepy and weird, and I just don't like him. And it's completely unfair. I'm really sorry. you know, that I don't like it. I don't know. There's just something about the guy that freaks me out.
That's fair enough, man. Who cares? What do you not like about Queen?
Queen?
Why do you hate Queen?
Fucking, I've listened to them so fucking much.
I think that's part of it as well, isn't it? That that if he portrays something, even a good guy like Freddie Mercury, that you just don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shit.
I've got nothing against Freddie Mercury at all. Like, the guy was a legend. He can definitely sing. That Live Aid concert where he's there, that is incredible. Like, he's an amazing performer. But when you're 43 fucking years old and you've listened to Queen whole cocking life, same with the Beatles and all that shit, I'm fucking sick of it. I can't do it anymore.
When they
I
play
can't
We
listen
Are
to
the
it.
Champions every time your team wins.
Blake's gone.
It's just awful. And
Yeah, I just go.
Rock you.
Iron
it's
going.
like music made by people that
Make
are
terrible
recovering
sounds.
from a brain injury, and this is what they
It's
come
like
up
an
with.
office thing, though. It's like the fucking. It's like that. Oh
Well,
my
it's been
god.
hijacked by like that. But what you know, those songs when they came
It
out,
is like that
obviously
safe
weren't-
office generic thing that they would play at the pub quiz. Do you know what I mean? At
Yeah.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Flack's pub quiz, and
And that's like all Take That music as well, isn't it? Like every
Yeah.
song, every song Take That have ever done is just like you know that if you're gonna go to an office like
It's
pub
safe.
quiz or something, that they're gonna play that today this could be fucking every fucking
Exactly.
time. God damn.
And also, this is I hope Mrs. F doesn't listen to this part of the podcast. I had a girlfriend when I was about 15 or so. Who she was a bit of a nut, and she really loved Queen.
Right.
To the point where when I'd go over to her house, that was all we would listen to. She only listened to Queen, and I mean the
Wait.
whole time.
Maybe she was just going through a phase though, or do you think
No,
that
no,
now
no.
somewhere out there she is just still listening to Queen? She's old. She's like 43 years old.
Yeah.
But still listens to Queen all the time. You know,
Yeah.
I don't
can't
know.
get enough of Queen.
She had a lot of problems going on. She was, girls at that age, they
How
can
old
either
was
be
she?
cool. She
like
was 15.
12. Oh
No,
my
she was
god.
15.
Love problems.
Because
Okay.
I was also 15, Lewis. That's how
Right,
it
so
works.
what kind of music were you listening to at the time?
I was into metal at the time.
Right. Okay.
There was a lot of stuff in the 90s that was like,
Heavy.
yeah, like
The 90s was
grungy
pretty
and
heavy.
stuff.
Yeah.
It was pretty heavy, and that was what I was into. It was like guitar-driven, kind of rock and metal and grunge and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And she was listening to Queen exclusively.
Okay.
And
Well,
she
I mean,
was
if when you're like 10,
But
11,
what-
12, you don't have any problems. When you're like 15, you have a lot of problems. Everything's a problem.
I'm just imagining you going to this girl's house and all she's listening to on repeat is Bicycle Race by Queen, which makes it even creepier. Like that's
It's
a
just-
really weird song, isn't it?
It was just so that was annoying. And then you just listen to it for fucking years. It's the same song.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
thinks Bohemian Rhapsody is this great fucking song. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking
Well,
sick
it was
of it. I hate
hated
it.
when it first came out. People did not like it at all.
Well, they were right then, and I'm
It was
right
one
now.
of those
so-
things that just became. I think, funnily enough, I think it had a resurgence in popularity after like the 90s.
Wayne's
like
World.
Wayne's
It
World.
was in
yeah,
Wayne's World,
was
yeah.
sort of introduced it to like the younger generation.
Are you annoyed because you lost your virginity to Queen, and you're like,
No, I did
you're
not
like,
lose
you
my
wish it was
virginity to
something
Queen.
cooler?
I did
Yeah,
not
yeah.
lose my virginity to Queen.
Come
Good
on.
for you.
No, I didn't. I assure you.
I want to ride my
My
bicycle.
That would have been.
Ride my
That gives you like post-traumatic stress.
Yeah. Every time I hear a dinging bell of a bicycle, I start to convulse. Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, fair enough. I mean, if you don't like Queen for that reason, then that's fair enough.
That's just one of many
I was just interested because you just seemed to like, you were like, I hate Queen, like very passionate
No, yeah,
hatred
that
for it.
definitely deserves.
Surprising. It's not something you hear every day. Most people don't hate Queen.
Right, exactly. And I'm not just saying it to be like a hipster and be cool.
No.
Like, I have a reason.
Yeah.
That's my reason. Can we talk about Bryce Dallas Howard some more? Because she's fucking gorgeous.
I don't even know who this is actually.
Did you
What's her name?
watch?
Bryce?
Did you watch Bryce Dallas Howard?
Oh, yeah, there she's come up
Ron
straight
Howard's
away.
daughter, right? So,
Bryce
you
Dallas
remember?
Howard.
Yeah. So, did you watch Black Mirror?
No.
Yeah.
So do you remember the episode where you go around and people upvote you on whether you're nice, and they give you an extra like or a dislike, and you
Sure.
have a certain ratio, and if you have a bigger ratio, you're more likely to get social advancement, all the rest of it. So she's angling for people to like her. She was in that episode. She was brilliant.
She was
And,
in Pete's Dragon.
I don't care what she was in. She's gorgeous. She's made some junk movies, but I'm obsessed with her. I don't know why.
She was in the movie Parenthood in 1989. How old is she?
Oh, really?
She was born
She's
in
like-
81. She's a year younger than me.
Yeah.
She was the girl in the yellow dress in Apollo 13. She played the surprised Who in How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000.
She was in that terrible movie that M. Night Shyamalan made.
A Beautiful Mind.
No, it wasn't that. He didn't make that. It
The
was
Village.
called. No, she was in that, but it was a different one. It
Spider-Man 3.
was- No, it was. Oh, what the fuck was it called?
The Loss
Pete
of a
Chapman
Teardrop Diamond.
movie. No, it wasn't that one.
Terminator Salvation.
No, it wasn't that one. M. Night Shyamalan.
50-50.
No, that's not one of his.
Restless.
No,
No, she produced that one. Never mind. Pete's. No, that's not M. Night Shyamalan. The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2.
no, it wasn't that one.
Jurassic World.
No.
What Twilight spiral have we entered here?
Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water.
Okay,
So this movie
right.
is this was
Oh.
actually the highlight of my film review career. Had to go to the premiere, got to meet Bryce Dallas Howard and ask her some questions and stuff like that, and Paul Giamatti.
This is
and
in
it was
2006.
right. It was a fucking long time ago. I just quit my job, and this was what I was doing, was reviewing movies for a website. And there she was on the red carpet. I was in the little press bit with all the other guys.
Were you
holding their
bald?
little dictaphones. No, I had hair at the time. This is
Okay.
2006, so I still had a bit of hair.
How much?
And she was well enough. I mean, more than now.
Look,
you
I'm
know,
trying to
so
picture it, okay?
Wow, God, this movie sounds crazy.
It is bonkers.
Listen to this. The film's plot concerns the superintendent of a Philadelphia apartment complex who discovers a
Giamatti.
young woman in the swimming pool. Gradually, he and his neighbors learn she is a water nymph, or narf,
A narf.
whose life is in danger from a vicious wolf-like mystical creature called a scrunt.
The scrunt.
Tries to keep her from returning to her watery blue world.
Yeah.
Wow.
This sounds absolute shit.
So it is so fundamentally flawed. I had it's 109 minutes. I sat through the whole fucking thing with this other film reviewer who I knew called Rosie, and she was cool.
Stone Up
And we
Media.
watched this film with our jaws
At the end of
on the
everything,
floor 'cause it's so
at the end of
fucking
every
bad.
car
It is
presentation
his-
he does this retarded guy saying, "I love you, I love you."
Okay.
It is one of his, and there's many, one of his absolute monstrously bad movies. It's not as bad as The Happening, which is the most hysterically awful movie, but it's fucking close. Like, it's a hair's breadth from being that bad. The only thing that saves it, in my opinion, from utter awfulness is that Paul Giamatti is in it, and I really like Paul Giamatti, and Bob Balaban is in it, and I really like him. But it's awful. And the whole plot is so convoluted.
Right.
You have to see it to believe it. I recommend watching it just to appreciate how fucking awful it is. And the fact that they were still giving this guy money. It cost $70 million to make this movie. They gave him $70 million, and this is what he came up with. And apparently it was based on a story that he used to tell his kids at bedtime. Like, he made this fucking shit up for his kids at bedtime on the fly and thought, that'd make a great movie, and put it in a movie, and somebody gave him 70 million quid to make it. It's fucking awful. But yeah, it's so bad, it's worth watching.
Right. Yeah. So she is gonna be in Rocket Man. She stars in Rocket.
She's in Rocket Man, yeah, she's in Rocket
Oh,
Man.
right, okay. Oh, she's good.
That's why I was talking about it.
I like.
She's great.
I like her. So the thing, I mean, she was in that great Black Mirror episode, right? And I hear that Black Mirror is quite popular in China. Okay.
Really?
And yeah, very very popular.
Well, I think it's popular everywhere, is it not? Like, people seem to go on. And
Well, they're
on about it.
particularly popular, like really very very highly sort of viewed, and people are aware of it. And I think it's because they have this kind of systems like being built into their society right now. Like, you know, there's this sort of scary.
What, like scary monitoring and shit like that.
Yeah, there's like scary blacklists you could be put on and things for jobs and travel and cars and things like this, like in driving, and like other people can report you for stuff and like take pictures of you and submit it and that get paid for submitting you doing traffic infringements and stuff. There's a lot of stuff like QR codes are apparently like incredibly prevalent everywhere, and you have to kind of. I saw a thing about it and I was like, holy shit, China is like an amazing. You obviously went to China.
Yeah.
It's this huge, incredibly amazing place with some really kind of interesting like systems that they're like technological systems that they're building in to like monitor people and get people to behave and. I don't
It's
know,
scary.
Like, it
You know
is
what
scary.
else is kind of crazy about China? They can build like a high-rise building in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it falls over on the third week though.
They manufacture in their factories. They manufacture like these parts of buildings, like they're bits of Lego or whatever, and then they ship them all down to the site, and then it's like building a Jenga tower. It's already all built. They just
Wow.
they slot them all in and weld them in place, and then boom, you got like a high rise built in like 2 weeks. It's crazy.
So my friend who's Chinese, he told me that when they had the Olympics there, in order to clean it up, they literally got a bunch of buses, rounded up all the homeless people, put them on the buses, drove them out to the countryside, and just kicked them off the bus.
Nice.
Like out, and then went back. They just left them to it, like a dog. You know what I mean? He's gone. Just let him loose in the country. They did that with the homeless people. That's China in a nutshell. Like they're just like, there's a homeless problem. How can we solve this? Get him on a bus, dump him in the countryside. Done. That's what China's like. So
They've got like really good like facial and like gait recognition cameras and stuff that can track people and like walk where they go and stuff. And you can like I watched this video of the guy who was driving along. It was like one of these you know like everyone has these like what they called cameras on the front of their car, dash cams.
yeah.
And like there was this crazy like car that just pulled out and like brake checked. Like he looked like he was driving like an absolute nutcase. And what people would often do is they would put the foot down and accelerate to get past him and get away from it. And he would film them doing that, and he would send that in and get like 50 quid for reporting them for speeding.
Wow.
Because they'd done this overtaking in the wrong lane or whatever to get away from the guy who was driving like a nutcase. So like there's a lot of people kind of willing to take advantage of measures that they're putting in ostensibly for good reasons, but leading to this kind of crazy it's also everything's changing at such high speed as well.
Well, it's like when people do the crash for cash thing. A lot of people, you can find videos all over YouTube. I've spent many hours watching dashcam videos from Russia and China. Seem to be the number 1 and 2 places for crazy dashcam videos. People will walk out into the road and then throw themselves on the bonnet of the car and claim injury and stuff like that.
Oh my god.
They'll point to their dashcam like, "This isn't going to work, buddy," and they just get up and sort of walk off.
Nice.
It's like you have to have one. And lots of people reversing into you and then claiming you went into the back of them. Because most insurance companies, if the car was hit in the rear, the car that did the hitting in the rear is at fault, like almost automatically. It's like if you're hitting the side, it's generally the same thing as well. Because it has to be the other driver's fault in most cases because you've gone into the back of someone. So yeah, you just reversed into them and say, "Oh, you crashed into me." But if you have a dash cam, that gets stopped. I have a dash cam, but I need to get it installed. The problem is, took it to Halfords, they won't install it unless you buy it from them. And I said, "Why?"
Motherfuckers.
And they said, "Here's their excuse. What if something goes wrong in the install? We're not covered." I said, "So you're telling me that your guys that do the installing are so bad that they might break the dash cam during the installation?" And he was like, "It could happen." I was like, "So that's it. So if I don't buy it from you guys, you won't install it?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Great." Because most of the mechanics won't do it. They just like, all the ones around here go, "No." So I don't know how to fucking install it. It's got all cables and shit. I don't want to break my car. I'll fuck it up.
That's just so fucking stupid, isn't it? Can you imagine being that unhelpful that you lose the company you work for, a customer for life? I would never fucking go there again.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's literally, you can just order shit online.
It's just so fucking stupid. If you are a manager at Halfords or the owner of Halfords and you're listening to this,
Mr.
by
Halford,
any
Mike
chance,
Halford, I'm sure he's called. Yeah,
have a
get on it.
fucking word with your idiotic staff. That's just fucking stupid. What a fucking waste.
I love how Sips has just sold his shares in Halfords.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
I was thinking of opening a branch of Halfords here on Jersey, but no more.
Good luck.
Keep dreaming. Holy
I just
shit.
thought that was such a stupid excuse to literally say, "Well, we might break it." It's like, well, you're out the same amount. Like, you're out one dash.
Did you get your shit food yet? Your meal replacement food?
Do you mean the MRE?
High calorie,
like prison
Why do you have to
apocalypse
call it
food.
shit food? It's good enough for our fighting men and women.
Have you got it right
It's good enough for
there?
me.
In a
It's here.
plastic
I
bag.
mean, the
here,
context
listen,
in,
let's
fucking
in which they
snacking on
eat
it.
it, though,
That's
is
it.
like, you know, I think anything would taste good if you were stuck in a trench, like fighting for your life. You know what I mean? Your standards all of a sudden drop because you're so fucking hungry and your life.
It's
is
not
being
World War
threatened.
One, lads. They're not giving them cans of rotten bully beef and rum. You know, it's all nutritionally balanced and stuff.
Tonight, our brave boys in the trenches chow down on bully beef and rum. Here's it keeps their spirits up for fighting the Hun.
I may have lost my teeth to the rock, but thank God for rum. Here's to you, Your Majesty. Over the top, boys! Hurrah! Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I'm gonna do a stream where I cook and eat one of these with the kids.
You
right?
don't
'Cause I
have to
think
cook
they'll
them though,
enjoy it.
right? You just open them and they cook
No,
themselves. They put water in them.
cook 'em. Yeah, it's got like a little heating element. You put it in a bag with this heating thing. You add water. There's some chemical reaction. It goes nuts, generates a load of heat.
Nope.
Boils the water.
Why
Cooks
don't
the
you
food.
go camping or something? Fuck, you know, like have an excuse. If you enjoy it so much, you got to do it
Yeah,
in the
why
right
don't you
scenery,
actually
right?
go
Nope.
camping?
It's like it's not the same,
Fuck.
is it? You know, it's like you know,
Camping's
if you're
gross.
going to enjoy
Uh-oh.
like a delicious, I don't know, steak, you want to like get, you know, light the candle, get like, you know, get it all grilled up nice, you know, and like, you know, lay the table, put the fancy cutlery down, get the china out, you know.
So you're saying I can't really enjoy an MRE unless
Man,
I'm
go on a
living.
camping murder mystery. I wish do people do those? You know, like you go to like a murder mystery party, you know, and you have to like figure out who did it or whatever. Do they ever do those? Do they do more elaborate ones where you go out to the woods and it's kind of like maybe a bit like Blair
I
Witch,
do.
but
I
not
think
as
I think
spooky,
you're
but
talking
you
about
have to solve a
laughing.
murder
There. I think probably
while you're out in the
if you want
woods.
to do it, Sips, I could probably hook you up with the right people.
That's more like a medieval murder mystery, though. I'm talking more like a modern one. Yeah, you know.
Sounds a bit scary, like the Portage serial killer. Just do a.
Yeah, you know, you just like you go, you set up your camp and stuff, and they're like, "All right, guys, now that you're all set up and everything, let's take a look at the evidence." And they take you out, and there's just like some woman crucified on a tree. You have to
It's like an
like,
M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah,
film.
you
There's like
have
a
to, like,
narf
figure out
there.
what happened
It could
to
be
her
the
and
narf
stuff.
in the swimming
Yeah.
pool.
There's
like
a
a-
scrunch somewhere in the woods.
her tits are missing
Stop.
and stuff. You gotta like.
I'm bringing my MRE's coming right back up if I've eaten this thing.
Fucking hell, you've really thought about this, haven't you?
I think that would be really good. Well, you know, it's just like
Tits are missing.
we're getting to the
CGI.
point now where people want different experiences. You know, like escape rooms aren't enough anymore. Now people want to feel like they're real
Yeah.
detectives. I want to feel like I'm a real detective solving a real case. Okay.
You said that just like some hard-bitten detective. Here's the Vic. Tits are missing. Put it in the book. You there, officer. Have a look around for a pair of titties. You gotta be around here somewhere. Oh, Captain, I found a nipple. Good. Stay on the trail. Put a circle of chalk around it. I want a good look at this nip.
Oh, fuck me. No, it'd be good though. I think stuff like that is gonna become, you know, I think these escape rooms and stuff, these this experience economy, right, is gonna just evolve. Like VR is gonna help it as well. But
Yeah.
there's gonna be shit like that where you have to solve like a very elaborate crime or something that's, you know, like fictional, but you know, you immerse yourself into it and it's very well done. sort of
Yeah, you know what? Experience stuff seems to be big. I was in where were we? We were in Borough Market up around Spitalfields in London, which is where the Jack the Ripper murders took place, by the way. And we were there. There's like a market there. It's nice. It's all frou and everything. And just on Brick Lane, there's this bar. It was called something like Alcatraz, right? So it's like a play on words like Alcatraz, but Alcatraz.
Right.
You have to bring your own booze. It's all underground, and it's like a prison. And you go in there and you put on like a prison jumpsuit, and the waiters will smuggle the booze to you as if you're a prisoner, and they're smuggling the alcohol that you brought with you to you. So they'll bring cocktails to you. They sort of smuggle in, and there's like a warden that goes around and talks shit to you. You're in a cell and everything. And I was like, oh man. The guy said, yeah, but you've got to book it. It's like fully booked for like a month.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, what? It's like super popular. Like
Yeah.
people can't just go for a fucking drink. They have to pretend they're in prison having a
Yeah,
drink.
Yeah, I think stuff like that's gonna get more and more popular. I think people
And then the
will
warden
set shit up.
bums you in the shower and pay 50 quid.
Yeah,
for-
there's always
for
got
the
to be
privilege.
some form of sexual gratification.
Yeah. Now the bumming.
I've got money. I need to get my rocks off big time. Somehow.
Man. Alcatraz. All right, we got lockdown. Wait, I'd like to leave. Not today. That's why it's fucking fully booked. They're all literally stuck down there.
Alcatraz.
People
that's
do like
quite an
that
idea.
dark
Holy
tourist
crap.
shit.
I wish I would have thought of that one. Maybe I need to start thinking
Oh, so you
about
can have fun too.
an experience for people of Jersey. Like we'll have like pretty soon.
Oh,
I'll have
shit.
the whole island on
Well,
lockdown
yeah.
with all of my business ventures. Right? Like
Well,
you land at the
that's not what that
airport, we're
goes.
gonna have the titty bar up there.
Local lawyer and Halford's owner, Sips.
Local lawyer. If you're ever on the news, I want that to be the caption underneath. Local lawyer and Halford's owner.
Then you drive into town, and then you can go to like my cutting edge experience bar, which will have like a murder mystery.
Like it's a
and maybe,
strip club
some other
as well.
petty crime that you have to
Just
solve.
combine all of your dreams into one, terrific business venture.
All right, come on, prepare for your cavity search now. We're gonna put you into your Alcatraz cell. Oh, no, mister. I'm not
Jesus.
trying to smuggle booze in my butt. I promise.
How about a strip club where you have to strip? That's the experience. The strippers are the patrons.
Yeah, so it would appeal to people who like to like flash people.
But you could also do all the please put your underpants in this bag, bend over, cough, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It could be like a whole prison,
Yeah,
on stage.
And then they beat the shit out of you. That would
And
be,
they-
yeah.
yeah.
I was watching that Louis Theroux documentary about prisons. Have you seen that?
I've
I've
watched
seen
most
a whole
of
bunch
them.
of Louis
Oh,
Theroux.
man.
I've had to stop watching Louis Theroux though. It's too fucking heavy now. Like
It's very heavy. Like
I
when he
find
does
it-
the stuff about the drugs in Huntington, it's
oh
It's
god,
just
they
so
had, the last
grim.
one was about postnatal depression and stuff like
Oh,
that.
man.
And I just was like, oh, I can't fucking watch this. I just-
yeah, it's just really it is
it's really
hardcore
way
now.
too heavy.
I think the difficulty partly is that sometimes people, when they know they're on camera, it can change the way they act and the way they behave and things. And I think that's always like a dangerous thing, isn't it? When you point the camera in someone's face, I don't know. You're not sometimes getting a snapshot of these people's lives. You're kind of
Oh, yeah.
interfering, and you can affect that. And it's sad to see like some of these people in the situations they're in.
Hey, did you guys hear that Jeremy Kyle's been cancelled?
Yeah, a
Fuck
fucking
me.
victory for decency.
Yeah, god damn, it's about fucking time. Like, it's such a
He was a
fucking
fucking
irresponsible
cunt.
show that's been on the air for fucking so long now. Like, Jesus Christ.
What a fucking piece of shit he was. Fucking good riddance. I hope he never works again. I hope he
Yeah.
ends up destitute and broke. And I really fucking hope that one day Jeremy Kyle gets busted for something. Like, I don't care what it
It's
fucking is.
fucking garbage, man. It's a show designed to make people look stupid, and he's just feasting on their fucking misery as well, like some parasite. What an ass.
Well, yeah, it ran
Yeah.
for
That is stupid
14 or
shows, man.
15 years. Like fucking.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what though? People should be ashamed of themselves for watching that shit. Because if it got no ratings, it wouldn't have continued. People were watching that, lapping it up, laughing at people. that
Million
were
people
poor
regularly
and not the
watched it.
smartest and in terrible situations. Stop giving fucking Jeremy Kyle the audience he does not deserve. Please.
Yeah,
Please.
well, it's
have some fucking
done now.
self-respect and have some respect for your fellow man. For fuck's sake. Makes me want to puke. Jerry Springer, on the other hand, love it. Love it.
Love me some Springer.
One of my favorite, Maury Povich.
Maury Povich. Yeah.
He is, in the case of Jackson Frithforth, he
Maury-
is not your son. Woo! You are
Maury
not the father that
Povich.
dances and shit. I love
Sally
it.
Jesse Raphael. Remember her as well? I don't know if she's still going. Fuck. Oh, there's so many fucking shows like that. Like,
Judge Judy.
yeah.
Oh, Judge
what
Judy's
about
great, though.
Trisha? Remember Trisha? That got cancelled as well, didn't it?
She was on Pointless. You watch Pointless?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Love that show. She was
It's
on that.
on like
the
at
other
an
week.
awkward time for us.
Judge Judith Scheinman was on
No,
Pointless.
Trisha.
Oh.
I would love to see Judge Judy on there. She's fantastic. She's fantastic. Because the cases are generally things like there's one where there's this guy and this girl is claiming that he stole her bag, And he says he didn't. And she's listing the things that were in the bag. And he interrupts and says, yo, that wasn't in there. And Judge Judy just sort of goes, just smiles and sort of bangs the gavel. Bam! Like, gotcha! I'm like, how fucking stupid are you, dude? He was like, no, now hang on. That definitely wasn't in there.
Oh my
best.
god. There was the other one. They got Judge Judy and they have that other one's like Judge Joe Brown or something. Judge Simpson.
Another victory for Chris Lovett. Another victory for Jersey's finest lawyer sits today on Judge Judy.
I would love it.
As Judge Judith Scheidlin rules in favor of the lady whose handbag was
Oh my
stolen.
God.
The guy was forced to return the handbag with the containing box of tampons
Sits brand
and
dildos.
lipstick.
He runs the
Yeah,
whole fucking island.
daytime TV over here is so different to daytime TV in America, isn't it? Like, well, maybe
We don't
not
have
so
any
much
religious
now, but-
shows. That's one thing. There's a lot more religious shows in the States. Whole channels.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then you have like a lot of those. Remember, they had like Phil Donahue back in the day, and,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yuri
Geraldo.
Povich, and who's that other guy? Montel Williams.
Montel Williams.
Montel
Uncle,
Williams.
Dr. Phil.
Geraldo,
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
Phil.
Yeah, yeah.
Lots of shows like that. We only have like over here is really just Jeremy Kyle.
The
and,
One Show.
And Trisha. The One Show
Yeah.
is more like variety, though, right? It's
Yeah,
not
no, yeah,
so
you're
much.
right. You're right.
But then over here during the day, you have all that fucking shit like Homes Under the Hammer.
Yeah, it's all property,
It's all
cookery, and crime.
property, cookery, gardening, and like
Traffic
antiques and
crime.
Shit. Yeah, yeah, really light traffic crime.
Really, really mild. Guy was speeding. We got him. Good job.
Yeah.
Look how this guy's parked.
Yeah.
Ticket done.
It's funny
Case
how
closed.
yeah, it's funny what's like how different it. I don't know, maybe because I haven't lived in North America for a long time, so maybe it's different now. But I remember it being.
They have a lot
very-
of property do-up shows. Because when I was last out there, like the shows that my dad and his wife watch, they have an awful lot of property makeover shows where people buy a shithole of a house and fix it up.
Right.
They do have cookery shows, but I don't feel like it's the same as we have here.
Fucking shows for anything. They have shows for everything. It's just any old garbage you want to watch. There's a show about it.
Me and my brother Bob, we drive around the country picking up shit off the side of the road and seeing if we can sell it for money. Join us.
They had a lot of fishing shows as well. Have you ever seen a
Fishing
fishing show in North
Lots
America?
of fishing shows. Yeah.
Me and my brother Bob, we drive around the country doing fishing at all of the lakes. It's like, fucking hell. It's the same shit. Me and my brother Bob, we do up people's houses. That's right. We're going around to fucking Dallas today, where we're doing up the house of an old fucking woman. Hello. Do you know what I mean? Oh.
Just me and my brother Bob.
These two guys are like 50% of all TV shows is this guy and his brother Bob. Yeah, we
Oh,
can turn our hands to anything, me and Bob.
Me and Bob are going on a real hyper-realistic crime-solving spree.
All right, that's enough. Thanks, everyone. That's the Trifles Podcast for today. 99.2 FM. Don't change your dial.
On your dial.
See you next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Peace. Patreon.
r/ask Reddit. What do you miss about high school? Seeing friends every single day. You try to stay in touch as much as possible. r/ask Reddit. Uber and Lyft driver. Girls of Reddit, what are some weird things that almost every guy does, but they don't realize? The awkward crab sideways step. We know you're trying to unstick your balls from your thigh. I've never met a man who didn't keep large amounts of change around in his room in some form, either in a bucket or scattered around the floor. I know a guy who falls asleep on his change, and it falls off him in the shower, so the shower is also full of money. Edit. Thanks so much for the gold, kind stranger. In the spirit of the post, I'll fall asleep on it tonight and be mildly alarmed when it detaches from my body during my morning shower. Lol, like a dragon. I may have poured money on my bed and slept on it. It's just one of those things that are in the movies and you gotta find out if the hype is real. And it totally is. Unsticking quarters from your back is the only downside. Lower their voice by an octave when talking to their dad on the phone. Most of my male friends, and so also mysteriously speak with a stronger / more stereotypically blokey accent when speaking to their dad, which I mostly put down to growing up in rural Australia. Girls raise their voice an octave when talking to their dad. I raise my voice when talking to anyone. Actually, I have a fairly low voice for a woman, and while I'm fine using my normal voice around my partner or people I'm comfortable with, I prefer to use a slightly, not quite a full octave, as far as I know, higher voice around everyone else. Although this makes me wonder if I raise my voice even higher when talking to my dad or stepdad. I don't think I do. The pants slap. Whenever they leave the house they slap their pockets to make sure their wallet and phone are there. Every single guy I know does this. Ah yes, the triple tap. Phone, wallet, keys, spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch. Sticking your hand down your pants when watching TV. Not to jerk off or anything, but I know so many guys who put their hand just under the waistband of their pants while they're sitting on the couch. Do your hands get cold super easily? Are you just compelled to have your hands close to your dick just in case? What is it? When giving another man a hug you hit them on the back exactly 3 times. The weird faces they make when playing video games, especially when they're like stuck somewhere or rapid firing. Look at cleavage. Every girl whose cleavage you've stared at knows cleavage has to be looked at. It's its whole purpose. Besides, it's 100% impossible to refrain yourself from looking. I've tried countless times. It's a natural reaction, but you don't stare. It's like looking at the sun. Take a quick peek, and then look away. We can tell when you're checking out other women. I catch my boyfriend doing it sometimes, and I like to tease him about it. He gets very defensive though, and never admits to it. Sometimes I even point out hot chicks. Like a dude, I definitely check out other dudes. It's normal. Edit. To the people flooding my inbox about how no chick is that cool and blah blah blah. I don't care. This is how I feel about it. I'm not so insecure that I'm going to flip on my sofa doing something natural that everyone does, including myself. And to the person who called me a worthless slut and to die, go back to the red pill buddy. Ain't nobody got time for that. Edit. Got my Reddit gold cherry popped. Thank you. My fiance checks out hot girls with me. My girlfriend says that when we touch shardy in public it's weird and disgusting. I think it's weird that your girlfriend has claimed mutual ownership of your D. When guys pull their wallets out of their back pocket while sitting down, they always make a strange, grimacing face while they struggle to get it out 100% of the time. We are actually pulling it out of our ass. Don't give away our secrets. Are you trying to get us robbed? When they don't know each other, but are thrown into a social situation together, like a double date, they instantly become besties and have a sort of secret bro handshake every guy seems to know. Guys automatically like each other until they have a reason not to. With girls it's often the other way around. When they burp and then blow. Just trying to get it out fam. I don't want the burp chillin' in my mouth. Yay, we want it chilling in everyone else's noses. Pulling their shirts over their head by the neck hole to take them off. This keeps the shirt from going inside out. Pulling them off from the bottom just makes more work for us later. Many men I know, refuse to sleep at night, so they can get in as much video game time as humanly possible, and deny that they've fallen asleep when I've caught them randomly napping during the day. I mean like hardcore angry denial. I was not sleeping. Really? You snore while wide awake, eh? I don't know about you, but I find playing Vidar at night when everything's quiet and no one can interrupt you very relaxing. It's even better when you're with your pals in Skype or something. I'm surprised no one has said not washing bed sheets for long periods of time. I know a lot of girls who thinks it's gross to not wash your sheets every 2 weeks and a lot of guys who go months without washing them. We are supposed to wash them. Edit. What the hell is Reddit gold? You can take the sheets off the bed. Edit. Oh wow, it actually works. There's like a whole new sheet underneath. When a shy guy likes you, they usually look down after extended eye contact because of they feel uncomfortable. They also point their feet towards you and laugh at everything you say, even if it's not funny. That's because we know you're trying to steal our souls. And aren't girls the ones more likely to laugh at unfunny things if they like the guy, rather than vice versa? When they say they are talking / going out, and they say a friend, it's always a girl. If it's a guy friend, they say his name. I always ask when they say friend, and I'm batting a 100% out of 20 each times I've asked through the years. It's because he knows you ask that he says it's a friend. If he just said, oh Yami and Becky from the office did lunch today, you'd still ask who she is. Either way, he ends up having to give reasonable doubt that Becky is a purely platonic associate and that lunch is not code for Dex. I don't know if it's true or not, but I kind of suspect that most guys only really talk to women they're attracted to. I'm not unattractive, but I'm not Kate Upton either, and it can get a little frustrating when I'm trying to get this group project done, and he won't even say 2 words to me because he's way more interested in the prettier girls in the group. It's like he's afraid I'm going to fall in love with him if he has a conversation with me or something. Edit. I've just learned that I was the pretty one all along, and my life is a lie. Thanks Reddit. I find it is the opposite. I can talk to any girl that I'm not attracted to, just like they are one of the guys. A girl I'm into though. Nope, trip over words, and looked like an idiot, so I just say nothing. A female friend of mine claimed she noticed that guys have a tendency to queue up thoughts in their head before saying them. She claims that she'll say something to a guy while he's very much concentrating on something, and he will apparently ignore her for several full seconds before blurting out a response, as if the task of responding has reached the front of some queue, perhaps on a time-sharing system, as if on a computer. She asked me if that's what was going on in my head, and I said that I thought it was a pretty good approximation. She doesn't think women do this, but I have not asked anyone else, so I don't know if it's true. Edit. So it seems other people agree that this is more common among men than among women,
Right there.
but that there are plenty of women
Yeah.
who do this too.
Well, you're choking on
Interesting.
some.
I didn't want to give too much context at first, in order to not bias people's comments, but you guys are correct that we are technically oriented people. Both of us whom she mentioned she noticed doing this are male CS majors at a very technically oriented school. She goes here as well, but is in a different engineering major. And usually the person is, in fact, concentrating on a tough computer problem, either programming or trying to get the damn thing to work. Closed bracket. Not something they don't realize, but like men take so long to poop, I don't understand. What is going on in there? Do you fall in? Is it like a Narnia situation? Mostly on our phones or reading. We just really enjoy the silence and alone time. Nothing wrong with you or any girl, but we enjoy our bathroom times. Why do you sniff your dirty laundry? Yes, it was in the dirty bin. You just put it there yesterday. You know it is dirty. Why are you smelling it? Just do the laundry. Could have been just in London, but I found guys don't put anything on their walls. I saw my share of bedrooms in flat shares / warehouses during my time in the UK, and there was pretty much no distinguishing features to nearly every guy's room. I guess it was especially weird, because living in central London in a flat share means you only basically have a closet-sized room that's yours. I guess I just assumed that guys would want to make it their own. And this may sound a bit slutty, but, well, whatever. This didn't seem to matter an age discrepancy or profession. Just all blank white walls W/1 Nike dresser. Edit. Grammar. r/ask Reddit by Redify. People who fix computers for a living. What is the weirdest thing you've found on someone's computer? Worked at a retail store that fixes computers for a summer in college. This one guy brought in his computer for us to wipe, or put an antivirus on or something. There was only one folder on his desktop. It was named Spank Bank. Naturally, I opened it, and it was exclusively pictures of John Deere tractors. No porn whatsoever. The dude had to have done it just to troll us. It worked. Back in my old 6th form college, they would actively go through our accounts and search every folder for weird pictures. I've got nothing to hide. So naturally I made a folder called Great Tits. You open it. It gives another folder. Open that and it gives another folder. Open that. You get over 100 pictures of a bird called Great Tit. I was called into the headmaster's office for that. Since the I.T department reported me. Worth it. Edit. First gold. UHH. Enjoy some tits, I suppose. What happened after that? The weirdest thing I found in someone's PC was a group of like 5-6 lizards that were living in the case. Cold-blooded creatures found a warm box to live in. It was going great till one of them peed on the graphics card and shorted the card, killing it and the lizard. If only they were designed with that in mind. I could dig having symbiotic computer case pets. Then again, I guess I'm one. My room is like 5 degrees warmer when my computers are on. Just take your PC out of the case and mount it on the wall. Then your room is a PC case that you live in. A semi-truck track racing website wherein the individual I was assisting was logged into a paid/premium account. I looked it up, and it's something like $20 per month to access unlimited live streams of competitive semi-truck track racing. I'm used to finding ducked up porn. That's pretty commonplace. But I've never met anyone into competitive semi-truck racing to a point where they'd pay monthly to watch it. I mean, TBHW, all the various deer heads out there, it doesn't surprise me. $20 is an hour or two of work for most people. And I can see that being time saved from having to search for all your content. True. He's a portfolio manager with his own fund. So $20 is probably just a theoretical/philosophical concept to him. The most hilarious thing I found was when I was fixing a friend's laptop. He had a shortcut to his desktop on his desktop. Edit. Some people here are thinking it was a shortcut to the folded desktop. It was not. It was literally a shortcut of the feature, meaning if you double clicked it, it would just minimize everything and show you the desktop, or if you were already in it, reopen all windows. So pretty useless. It was a laptop, so no double monitors or anything like. Had a good laugh when I saw it. Did you click it? I did, yeah. Wanted to know if something would happen. Like when you throw the bin's shortcut into the bin. A folder filled with photos all labeled with dates, just of what seemed like the same weird pigeon crossbreed or something. It was the lifespan basically of us bird. I was absolutely stunned. I only looked through the folder cause he said he'd be okay with me factory resetting the PC. As long as I saved this one file. There were so many photos, like a picture a week for like a maximum of 5-6 years. Had to throw it on 2 of the USBs we had due to the sheer amount of photos. This is far more wholesome than most of the stuff on here. All of us knew what was awaiting us when we opened this thread. Not a computer, but I used to repair printers for a small company in Southern California. Most of the time I'd get calls to offices to service their workhorse printers. But occasionally I'd get a call to a private residence or home office. A woman greeted me at the door of this particular private residence call and walked me into her office to take a look at her inkjet printer. On the way through the house, I noticed that the woman's dress matches the decor of the house. Magenta top and black pants. Then I noticed that everything in the house matches. But there are only 3 colors. Black, white, and magenta. She takes me into the home office, where she explained that she was concerned her printer was infested. I responded along the lines of infested. By what? Do you suppose? Her response? Dust mites. Printer wouldn't power up. So I asked if she had the manual for the printer. She did, and proceeded to open a drawer, pull out one of about 3 dozen plastic bags in said drawer, and pull out the printer manual from within. Every document this lady had was in a plastic bag. She was pathologically afraid of dust mites. I took one more look at the printer and was easily able to tell what happened after looking inside it and seeing large discolored areas. She had set off a bug bomb inside her printer to try to kill whatever dust mites may have been in it. Recommended new printer. Well, you don't have to worry about bugs in the software at least. Aren't printers just a pile of frustrations and bugs out of the box? Less weird and more awkward. I used to work in tech support 10 years ago. One of the help desk supervisors was amazing. Always had a terrible pun to share. Gave me several lifts home after a night shift. Going out of his way to sew, and was generally an incredibly nice bloke. I hold him responsible for the fact that the client of the company I worked for hired me out of it, and I went on to be super successful in it. He gave me that chance. Told people they were wrong about me, and I could go far. Few years back, he killed himself, leaving his non-computer literate wife with all his weird tech stuff and computers. When I found out he had committed suicide, I reached out to her to pass on my condolences and offer any assistance I could. She apparently knew who I was by the things he had said, and took me up on the offer to take a look at his computers and merge them into one PC she could use. So I did. Before doing so, I sat down with her and went through every file and directory, asking her if she wanted it kept, etc. All in all, took a few days as we went through every backup he ever did. Day 1, when directory diving, I opened a folder that just had a big old picture of his Ike. Cue incredible awkwardness. She asked me to delete it, and we moved on. A week later I came back to finish the job and go through the last files before I merged the hardware to make her a supercomputer. Unfortunately, I was going through backups and didn't recognize the directory structure, and boom, there is his junk again. In full HD glory. Miss the old dude. But I wish the image of his Ike that is burnt into my retina wasn't. Edit. Ducked up the final sentence. Edit 2. Thanks for the gold and silver. Looks like you forgot to finish the final sentence. Lol. But I wish the image of his Ike that is burnt into my retina. Does what? Disappears? Stays forever? We all know you want that dead Ike. Jim. Just admit it. I also choose this guy's dead friend. I didn't really find it, but I had a guy with 2 MacBooks full of viruses. He told me right off the bat that he watches loads of porn on them. Definitely wore gloves for that one. It's not surprising to find porn on a PC. What is surprising is having a well-known judge turn his MacBook in for repair and finding nearly a terabyte of tentacle porn on it. Fisherman's wife and fisherman's wife to the retentacling. Edit. It's so awesome. This is my top comment. Thanks for all the upvotes, guys. Good old creature. A dampy blade, like how did it even get there? Let it rip. No matter the consequences. Even if you break your stadium and have to play in a bowl or tablet. Linus Tech Tips found a crack pipe in a PC case once. Good times. Edit. My most upvoted comment is literally just a crack pipe. How do you distinguish a crack pipe from a /weed pipe? Also, where did he get the crack? With a crack pipe you heat the glass, and it vaporizes the crack to inhale, so it has thin glass, so the heat transfers quickly. A weed pipe has thick glass, so when you're burning the plant material it doesn't burn your fingers. The most disgusting thing I've ever found in someone's computer was not their Goat Hentai collection. It was, rather, a computer that had been used in a small enclosed office, where smoking was not allowed, but where the user did smoke. Regardless of what was allowed. You know how, when you take the filter out of a clothes dryer, there's a sheet of lint on it that you peel off? Yeah. Now imagine that. Only it's made of oily, woolly sweater and cemented together with brown tar and grey ash, with the smell of aged ashtray. Your typical 2000-era tower PC has a number of cooling fans, for instance, on the power supply, the CPU, the video card, and sometimes one behind the front panel. Especially on machines with multiple 10K RPM hard drives. None of them are designed to work through a layer of gunky, sticky tar. The Goat Hentai thing is made up. I'm more concerned about the Goat Hentai collection. Carrot, Ninja Reddit, why did this blow up overnight? I was just joking. Concerned. A whole terabyte of porn scattered throughout every folder of his computer, and he was such a nice, unassuming old man. Apparently there is a porn star called Jugs Bunny. Big Jungus. Spit out my burrito duck man. I was helping someone find a file for some reason where I work, and they had a folder called steak porn. My curiosity got the better of me, and I opened it. It was filled with pictures of raw steaks. Do you know my dad? Course that's something he and his dad friends would probably do. This is something I actively do. If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. I work in it, so of course that means I'm its support for all my family. One day about 8 years ago, my brother phoned me to sort something that his son has done. The convo goes a bit like, bro, can you swing by mine and have a look at the house PC? Me, sure, but it probably won't be till tomorrow. Bro, can you come round now, cause Chrissa has been on the internet, and one of the sites has put an icon on the desktop and I can't get rid of it, and it needs to be gone before his mum comes home from work. Me, really? Haha. I'm on my way. I get to his house and he can't keep a straight face. How bad is it? I ask. But he just points up the stairs to where the PC is. I sit down in front of the PC and turn on the monitor, and am greeted by an icon in the middle of the screen. HarryWomen.com. I nearly pissed myself laughing. Before you all ask, no, I did not click on it. I removed the icon and my bro still chuckle about it. What made it even funnier is that years later my nephew realized that he is gay and thought it was hilarious when I jokingly asked if it was this site that made him gay. Lol. I actually forgot this one till your comment. There was a virus in the past late 2000s that would put 3-4 fake porn icons on the desktop with a cleanup program that would ask for money. The funny part is that 80% of the customers that came in for it were elderly women. Hey man, even Nana needs to pull a few aces out the wizard sleeve from time to time. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together. r/ask Reddit by Redify. What happened in school that still pisses you off when you think about it today? I was in the school finals of some general knowledge quiz/competition. The question I was asked was, what is the collective noun for a group of whales? I answered confidently, a pod. The illiterate bloody teacher had a school written on her answer card. Refused to listen when I assured her it was indeed a pod. Her ignorance cost me the grand title, and I was practically in tears in front of the whole school at the injustice of it. Everyone then labeled me as a bad loser. Will never forget it. Still seethe on it from time to time. It happened in 1985. If only it was in the era of the smartphone. Just whip that out and Google it and make the teacher look like a moron. Edit. My god, so much hate about cell phones but there's an encyclopedia. The point in my joke was that so many people have a cell phone ready for use in their pocket. Lighten up, people. I was in a pub quiz the other week and the quizmaster got a question wrong. I think it might have been about Pluto being considered a planet. I knew when I answered the question it was going to be a coin toss whether the QM thought Pluto was a planet or not, and guessed that he would be right. But I guessed wrong and grumbled a little bit. Got my phone out just to show my teammates after the quiz finished. Not too audibly, but the quizmaster happened to be sat near me and came up all high and mighty and said that I should be in charge of the quiz if I think I'm so good at it. So annoying. A girl in 3 of my classes was allowed by the administration to have her cell phone during classes because her father was dying. I was aware of the situation since it was happening for a week and she often had little breakdowns. One day, in first period, her phone vibrates while the teacher is talking. He disregards that fact that she's allowed to have her phone and demands she hand it over to him. I believe he said something along the lines of "I'll read it, and if it's not your mother then I'm keeping it," her phone, for the rest of the class because it rang while I was talking. Well, the girl flips out, starts crying as soon as she sees her phone screen. She said no, she's leaving. This starts a standoff between the teacher and her. He ends up blocking the doorway while still demanding her phone. His logic was, if he didn't know it was her mom texting her, then he can't let her leave. At this point, she's inconsolable and everyone in the class is screaming at him to let her go. Like, duck your complex dude. Let her go. And he's screaming back, I'm in charge here. To the point the class made so much noise that security came in to see what was going on. Security tells the girl just go to the office. Her dad did die that day and she wasn't in school for a month. The teacher had a leave of absence as well, and we had us at the rest of the year. From then on, students were not allowed special circumstances for cell phones and teachers were not allowed to block students from leaving. The real kicker is this was intro to photography and most students were there because we had to take a mandatory elective. Duck you. Mr. M. You were a right to that poor girl who only wanted to see her dad one more time. I'm mad just typing this out. What a massive control freak I kid. My elective class is super important. A teacher told me I couldn't keep a bottle of water in my locker because it could be vodka or something. I told her she could smell it and check. She said, that's not my job, and that I could just use the drinking fountain. I asked her if she would use the drinking fountain instead of a mug / the tap in the teacher's lounge. She wouldn't answer. This reminds me of my old English teacher. She used to not very slyly drink vodka from water bottles in class. We had a former teacher who would occasionally sub, and I'm pretty sure he was running on Irish coffee. A guy threw his cheat paper at me in an exam. The invigilator saw it, but instead of throwing him out of the class he threw me and gave me an F in that exam. This is the most ridiculous thing I've heard today. Yeah. What's an invigilator? I had to pee. Then I asked to go to the restroom. The substitute, full-time teacher for another class, said, you don't have to pee. Just sit down. After a bit more pleading and begging I just peed my pants. I was 8 and totally mortified. What made it worse is that the teacher told my parents that I should have spoken up earlier and accidents happen. I still think I should have peed on her desk. Something like this happened when I was in high school. The kid just pulled a garbage can to the corner and pissed in it. We had a pregnant girl in one of our classes and she needed to pee. She told the teacher and the teacher told her she should have kept her legs closed and she wouldn't need to pee so badly. She stood up, walked over to the door, peed in her pants in front of it, and walked out. He got fired because she had a medical reason for needing to have constant bathroom breaks. 10th grade class. Relatively early in the semester, but getting a 90 so far. One assignment was to make a flash animation. There wasn't really a formal submission process, and students just had to show the teacher that the assignment was done. I was the first one to finish. I showed the teacher. He said good. I moved on to do other assignments. About a week later I got my updated class average, which dropped to 78 somehow. I talked to the teacher, who said he never saw my flash assignment. I argued that I was the first one done, that he even commented on it, and my friend was sitting right next to me when I showed it to him. He was basically like, nope, never saw it. Eventually got my average in that class back to mid-80s by the end of the semester, but the ducker should have had a better submission process than just show me it's done. Edit, my first RIP inbox moment. Not to add salt to the wound, but I had an 8th grade English teacher that was on the complete opposite of the spectrum. We had to turn in 4 papers through the year. That would account for 25% of our year-end grade. I turned in 1. And somehow the guy never asked me for the next 3, but still gave me credit. I did something like this a few times. Had a very scatterbrained teacher in 10th grade. Had to turn in a huge, 13 pages or so, research paper. He just asked everyone to bring it up at the same time. So I did what any self-respecting procrastinator would. I grabbed a friend's and made conversation with said teacher while handing it in, but stood out of the way so others could hand in fizz and bury the one I handed him. Week or two later, he asks me to step out into the hall and says he can't find my paper. That's strange. I definitely handed it to you, Mr. P. I stood there and talked to you about whatever class-related topic it was for a bit. I was terrified, expecting him to ask me for another copy, which didn't exist. But instead he responds with, that's right. I thought that was you. Wasn't it? HMN. I guess I lost it along with other things he lost. Tell you what. It was my fault and you're a great student. I'll just give you a 95 on it. Next to highest grade in the class. Edit. I agree with most of you, this was a terrible thing to do. And very dishonest move on my part. It was some 7 years ago now. Definitely not the sort of thing I'd do at my current stage of life. My teacher lost my finals then made me retake them, while making passive-aggressive comments about me trying to cheat. 2 weeks later she found my original final on her desk under a pile of papers. Edit. Well, thanks so much for the support and love. Didn't realize this resonated with so many other people. Y'all are the best. I hope she ducking apologized. Of course not. That would mean she took accountability in her actions. Last year of primary school, I was being bullied on a daily basis. One kid stabbed me between the shoulder blades with a compass. Teacher, seeing the blood through the back of my shirt, declared that I'd done it myself to my mother / eater. Wow. You guys have made me realize how common this is. Thank you. I don't recall fighting back at all as some of you have asked, but I think I'd been so bullied into submission by that point that I felt it was useless. The kid that did it sadly passed away a couple of years ago. In some fate-laden way I'm now a teacher and pride myself on being kinder to my students than my teacher was to me. Some teachers are amazing at overlooking bullied students. One of my best friends was bullied really badly in high school and none of the teachers thought it was worth their attention, until she developed a severe eating disorder through the anxiety those little twats caused her. There's nothing more frustrating than seeking help through the channels the school tells you about, and then being ignored completely. The amount of teachers that are trying to relive their glory days and make an effort to be extra sweet and nice to the popular kids is also insane. I get it. You had a great high school experience and now you're in a position of power and can be friends with anyone. But it's as if they don't realize they are perpetuating the cycle, just creating more itty high school memories for another generation. In the 2nd grade our class was walking in a single file line outside for recess. It had rained and was muddy and slick. The class bully, a heavyset mean girl, was walking ahead of me. She slipped in the mud and fell on her ass. She jumped up and immediately pointed her finger at me. That I said I pushed her. I got detention for a few days and had to spend that recess with my head down on a desk in the teacher's office. I swore I didn't do it and no one believed me. Wow. That was like 1989 or 1990 and yeah. Still pisses me off. Don't worry. She probably got pregnant at 16 and now struggles to make ends meet while working 3 jobs to support her numerous ithead children who were fathered by 3 different men. The sad thing is, this more or less describes the majority of the Aishi girls I went to school with. When I was 16, I started living by myself. One of the things that still pisses me off years later about the first year or so that I lived alone is that, even though my marks were actually improving at the time, there were still teachers who told me they liked me better when I lived with my parents. Yeah. Please teacher, tell me more about how I should have moved back in with my abusive parents. I liked you more when you were quiet and submissive. Duck that teacher. That teacher is the primary reason why I refused to do any science subjects in years 11 and 12. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.
Still there, Corby?
r/askreddit by Redify. What did you think was normal around your hometown that you learned was totally bizarre or wrong when you left? Not hometown but one I lived in for a long time. Pop 1000ish. I worked at the corner store overnight. Every Tuesday night the police officer in town and a group of teenagers would play hide and seek with CB radios. He would come in for coffee all the time and the kids, I say kids, 18, 19, 20, would come in for cigs and snacks. The kids would plan all week for it. He wasn't ever really busy, but liked to keep his weekends open. Their rules were: 1. Has to be a legal driver. 2. Had to stay in the car while hiding. 3. Had to stay on the same channel. 4. Stay off private property, not including the property they lived on. 5. Had to stay within city limits. 6. If he flashed you with a spotlight you were out. 9/10 they met back at the store. One night we were talking about it, and I told him how fun it sounded. He said it was. It kept them out of trouble. Build a good relationship with the youngsters and let him know where all the hiding spots were in town. They, police, also like to shoot fireworks in the town center at 5 o'clock in the morning to keep the birds from hanging out on the power lines and pooping on people going to work. I almost hid myself the first time they did that. Wholesome AF. I was waiting for it to get ugly. Paraguay here. If a house doesn't have a doorbell, we just clap until somebody comes out. Edit. Bad English. My mom is Brazilian and says they also do this. Clap clap clap. Odi casa. In my hometown on the last day of school middle schoolers would walk home rather than ride the buses. We'd walk for literally miles. The high schoolers would drive around and throw water balloons at the middle schoolers. As a middle schooler there was a thrill in trying to make it home without getting hit. But as it was South Carolina in the summer, it was hot enough to where you really didn't mind getting hit. As a high schooler it was fun trying to nail some middle schoolers. It wasn't until I moved away that I realized it was unique to my hometown. It was this fun bonding experience. Walking home from school with your friends, dodging or throwing balloons. And it was all in good fun. It was so innocent. A small town annual tradition. Do you live in Dazed and Confused? It'd be a whole lot cooler if you had it. Happy haircut day. Anytime someone would get a haircut, if you noticed you would say happy haircut day and the goal was to be the first one to say it to them. Didn't realize this wasn't a normal thing until college lol. That's kind of adorable. I'm going to start saying this to people. Do it. Everyone loves when someone notices a haircut, so it can catch on pretty easily. Apparently other places don't close schools for opening day of deer season. My hometown didn't close school, but since IL's shotgun seasons we're so small, you could show your tags to the office and get the Fridays off as excused absences. Also from IL, sophomore year of high school, my best friend couldn't get the day off for the beginning of the hunting season. So his dad called the school and told him that he was sick. As they were in their way home, they saw the principal in his car. He'd also been hunting. The principal also saw my friend. The next day, he got called into the office. The principal gave him a detention for lying about his absence and he served it. My friend's parents called and complained that he shouldn't have been given a detention because the principal was also out hunting. So, my friend was given a get out of detention free card. He never had to use it. Tractor Day. Friday of homecoming week for our local public high school meant every farmer's daughter and son who knew how to drive a combine / tractor / etc would drive it to school and park in the teacher's lot. My mom lives in a very rural area. They had that too. Another interesting one was they took a gun safety class or something like that in 3rd grade. And then everyone who passed got to go outside during recess and shoot shotguns on the playground. Definitely can't do that nowadays. Actually, some places still do this. My county's high school takes their students to a local gun range every year for a gun safety 2nd Amendment / shoot at stuff field trip. A handful of parents are trying to get it cancelled, but the overwhelming majority of parents strongly support it. I guess when you live in an area like mine with a high number of guns and gun owners, it kind of is in the public interest to ensure that everyone is equally trained in gun safety. But it's definitely weird. There's a popular private Christian school in my hometown that I attended. The school is in a church building with a church cemetery next to it, and we ran for Penn in the cemetery, had art in the cemetery, and hung out in the cemetery at lunch. I thought this was normal until I went to public school. Newarpee. I mean, I've played in a cemetery like everyone else, but if anything, I got yelled at for it. Hopefully by the living. In my childhood neighborhood, you could go to one house and get a handful of candy, a different house for a soda, another house for a cookie, and yet another for a popsicle. Most of these people didn't have their own children. Only the cookie house had kids, but I think they were Mennonite and homeschooled. These folks just kept goodies around for the neighborhood kids. It didn't have to be Halloween or Easter. Any old Tuesday afternoon was fine with them. Anytime I've brought it up since, I've been told stuff like you're lucky you didn't get poisoned or kidnapped, but the community I grew up in believed it took a village to raise a child, and were just truly being good neighbors. There is a certain stranger danger factor to taking food from random people, but these people don't sound random at all. They in fact sound very consistent and familiar. Well, they definitely became pretty consistent and familiar after the first time. I can tell you that. But originally they were all just randos in the 2 or 3 blocks around my home. Going corning on Halloween. You break the hardened kernels off an ear of dried corn and go around the neighborhood throwing it at people's doors and then hiding/running away. Once I moved out of rural Pennsylvania, no one else had heard of it. It sounds like some parents just didn't want to clean up toilet paper or dog it, so they all got together and agreed to spread a new tradition. It made such a satisfying noise when it hit the door. Well done, parents. Our schools were also closed for the first day of buck and the first day of doe. Pretty country overall, really. Being second or third cousin by blood or marriage to almost everyone in town. Someone riding a horse or tractor through town. Everything closes on Sunday except the churches. People randomly stopping to ask you if you need a ride home, if you're walking around. And not the creepy free candy kind of asking, but genuine hey, how's your grandma? Need a lift? The 1950s? You grew up there too? In Minnesota we played Duck Duck Grey Duck. Not Duck Duck Goose. We played Duck Duck Grey Goose in college. That's called compromise. Censorship. Our local TV station refused to air that NYPD Blue episode where the rest of the nation got to see Andy Sipowicz's bare ass. We also got all the N-bombs taken out of our copy of Huck Finn in school. He was slave Jim to us. And when Kick-Ass premiered at our local theater, we didn't even get $signs on the marquee. It instead read Kick-A. Reminds me of ZIL. The movie theater was showing Heckboy when I was there. Heckraiser. In 2 years, we had 2 student/teacher marriages that happened shortly after the student graduated. I wouldn't say I thought it was totally normal at the time, but looking back, it seems really messed up. We also had a teacher and student, a junior, living together, but since they were both female, it was assumed that the teacher was helping out a teenager in a difficult family situation. That's concerning. We had a few in my town as well, and all of them are still doing very well, surprisingly enough, after many years. I got laughed at when I moved to North Carolina for calling a drinking fountain a bubbler. Edit, I'm from central Wisconsin. Wisconsin or Rhode Island? Moving from Rhode Island to Georgia. The only teacher who didn't meet, can I go to the bubbler? With to the what? Was from Wisconsin, lol. If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. The constant smell of oranges in the air. I grew up where they bottle Tropicana Pure Premium. Bruh, where is this? I wanna live there, so every day smells like Soarin'. Probably in Florida, so you could also go see Soarin'. Elementary school, public. Almost everyone was Catholic, so on Wednesdays they'd let the Catholic kids out early to go to CCD at the private school. Just me, a Jewish kid, and a Lutheran kid sitting in class for 2 hours every Wednesday afternoon for like a year. I come from a small town in central Florida, and when I was growing up, there was one Jewish family in town. The family were actually one of the pioneer families in the region, and owned cattle ranches and orange groves. I went to school with the kids, and besides the fact they did not celebrate Christmas, they were just like the rest of us. Kind of redneck. I was probably a teenager before I realized Jewish people are not usually rednecks. Redneck Jewish people. That is something I never thought I'd see described to me. Kids telling jokes door to door to get candy while trick or treating. It's a St. Louis tradition as well. For example, I'm from the Midwest. When I moved to Hawaii, I learned that O doesn't make sense like anywhere else. Also, it's all D. There's only one. Whoops. Oh, excuse me. Let me just sneak right past you. Holy cow. I say this probably 3 times a day. So Midwestern. I'm from a part of Ohio that calls a strip of grass between the street and the sidewalk a Deville Strip. It is only known as this in our town. Travel about 40 minutes outside of here and nobody will know what you're talking about. Not sure how it started either. Akron? Yes. You too. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together. r/ask Reddit by Redify. What is a fun fact that always blows people's minds? There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way. From when it was discovered to when it was declassified as a planet, Pluto did not make a full orbit around the sun. People who are too fat for the conventional MRI at the hospital are taken to the zoo. In a 2008 survey, 58% of British teens thought Sherlock Holmes was a real guy, while 20% thought Winston Churchill was not. Mainland China has a population in excess of 1 billion people, while less than 1 million are foreigners. This gives China the lowest score in the world for migrant percentage of total population, less than North Korea. I found this out by accident just a couple of weeks ago, and it blew my mind completely. How can China, such a global powerhouse of wealth, have such a small migrant population? A blue whale's fart bubble is large enough to hold a horse. The inside of the cheek and the inside of a vagina are made of the same tissue. Humans are the best endurance runners on the planet, able to outrun any species given enough distance/time. Fun fact, most of the top comments here will be until over the next few days. 90% of the population on Earth lives in the northern hemisphere. There are more hydrogen atoms in a teaspoon of water than there are teaspoons of water in the sea. Edit, back of envelope calculation reveals 334, 600, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000 hydrogen atoms in teaspoon of water. 252, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000 teaspoons of water on Earth. Shaq hit almost 12,000 baskets in his career. Exactly one of them was a three-pointer. In Japan, more paper is used to make manga than toilet paper. More French soldiers died during WW1 than American soldiers during the entire US military history, including both sides of the Civil War. The same can be said for Germany, Russia and Austria-Hungary. Edit. Death from World War I. France. 1. 357. 000 to 1. 397. 800. Russian Empire. 1. 700. 000 to 2. 254. 369. From 1914 to 1917. German Empire. 1. 773. 700 to 2. 037. 000. Austria-Hungary. 1. 200. 000 to 1. 494. 200. American military deaths from 1775 to 2015. 1. 354. 664. If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. Ohio is the only state that doesn't share a letter with the word mackerel. J. Cole went double platinum with no features. The measurement of time, the second, is called that because it's the second division of the hour. To browse multiple subs in a single tab, just add plus signs. Like this, r/movies plus AWW plus ASKREDDIT. There are more permutations of a standard deck of 52 cards than there are seconds, since the Big Bang. A lot of cities used to close all the bars on election day. They wouldn't open until the polls closed. Edit. Where I lived, this continued up to about 1970. Political corruption used to be more retail. You could buy people drinks, and thus buy their votes. The word bed actually looks like a bed. Human beings only use one nostril at a time. Each nostril takes a turn at being dormant, about 5 minutes, as the other nostril does all the work. The process is then reversed and the resting nostril takes over. Confirm this with an ENT document. Also, bananas are in the herd family. Those yellow stripes on the road are 10 feet long. All of the planets could fit in between the Earth and the Moon. If it were brighter, the Andromeda Galaxy would appear 6 times bigger than a full moon. The wingspan of a 747 is longer than the Wright brothers' first flight. Vikings used the bones of slain animals when smithing new weapons, believing this would enchant the weapon with the animal's spirit. This actually made the weapon stronger, because the carbon in the bones, coupled with the iron, made a primitive version of steel. Yoda and Miss Piggy were both voiced by the same person. The Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature. The only way to harvest magazine and news stories on a particular subject before the internet. You went to the library and looked up your subject in a series of updated soft and hardcover books. One for each year. They put out softcover updates every quarter. You found the ones you wanted, wrote them down on periodical request slips, and gave them to a library page who would go back into the magazine archives and come back with half the slips marked. We don't edit, subscribe to that magazine. Close edit. A quarter of the slips marked. That issue missing. And maybe 3 or 4 out of 10 of the issues you wanted would be there. But at least one would be a 3-paragraph filler that was useless. You almost never got the one you wanted worst. I tell this to college students. It's like showing them hell. Water is transparent pretty much only to visible light, plus a small slice of the ultraviolet and infrared wavelengths on either side of the visible spectrator. This isn't a coincidence. Our eyes evolved before our ancestors left the water, so they evolved to see precisely those frequencies at which water can be seen through. Edit. As several commenters have pointed out, there are other factors involved, most notably the light produced by our sun. I wasn't trying to be complete, and if you want a detailed discussion of the evolution of mammalian vision, you should look somewhere other than a Reddit comment. Originally for The Simpsons, Homer was going to be Krusty the Clown. He was gonna be all down cause he couldn't get respect from his son Bart as his father, but Bart worshipped his alter ego Krusty. Cars' warning lights are color-coded, based on level of importance. Red, do not ignore, but brake, temp, and oil. Amber, A. Whenever, abs, check engine, service engine, airbag, blue or green, no worries, cruise, low washer fluid. Edit. To everyone who upvoted. Thank you. To everyone else. Please stop being angry with those who don't know all the things you know. Second edit. I agree that everyone should know this, but they don't. I agree that all legal licensing and certification should come with an implied competence, but they don't. This piece of knowledge I find particularly important and worth repeating. I have seen so many people ignore the brake light, assuming it is the parking brake light. It's not. It is the brake system warning indicator, and could mean you are low on hydraulic fluid. No need to understand every function in all the warning systems. Just remember, do not ignore red warning lights. Natural gas has no smell. The smell that people associate with natural gas, mercaptan, is added to the gas lines to allow people to detect it before an accident occurs. From /u/Kennyemi, Akakenem, /r/Ken, there are more cells in our brain than there are brains in our body. This one dug me up bad the first time I heard about it. Out of all the big cats in the world, the one you should fear the most is the jaguar. All of the big cats aim for your throat and choke you out, or snap your neck for a quick death, so they can get on with eating. But oh no, not jaguars. For some unknown reason they prefer to make a mess of their kills and aim for top of the skull, dragging out the pain and length of their prey's death, smashing their skulls a Beren style. Hippos have pink urine. Reno, envy is further west than Los Angeles. CA.
This game's boring again.
Cold coffee and warm soda are the same temperature. There is only one country between Norway and North Korea. There were still mammoths roaming the earth by the time the pyramids were being constructed. Chilean Cebus was originally called Patagonia.
I don't think I got a single viewer apart from that one viewer. I wonder if he's still there. Said he joined, didn't say he left. Are you there, viewer? Or are you a bot all along?
Chat. Started.
Push for chat. Oh, who was it? Don't know, I've lost your name. I'm assuming just never said you left. Whatever. Watch movie.